Hello, hello, Holly. Welcome to the Mentally a Badass podcast. I'm so happy to have you today.
I'm so excited to be on. Thank you so much for having me, Justine.
I'm excited to talk with you today about chronic illnesses, rare diseases. Your girl has one too. I don't know if I told you which one I had. Did I ever tell you?
No, you didn't.
No, I didn't. Oh, I guess that kind of makes sense. It's not typically like a hi, nice to meet you. I have glaucoma.
No, it's not something.
Yeah. I have it in my right eye, and it's pretty rare. I don't know. Have you ever heard of it?
I have, yes.
Okay. Well, it's rare for my age. When I tell people I have it, they say to me, isn't that an old people disease? And I'm like, thank you so much. I really appreciate you. No, they really would say that to me. I'm not even lying to you. Say it just like that. I'm like, oh, okay. Anyway. Okay, so we're going to talk about GBS and CIPD. I need you to tell me what that is because I have no idea. For the people who have no idea what it is, what does it stand for? What it is? Let's get into it.
For sure. So GBS is the rare disease that I was diagnosed with, and it stands for Guillain-Barré Syndrome. And Guillain-Barré, where it was named from, was basically the doctors that discovered it. And so their doctors' names were Dr. Guillain and Dr. Barré. So that's where it came from, interesting enough. So what GBS is it's a rare autoimmune disorder. So it can be similarly compared to multiple sclerosis. So some people understand what that is, but they've seen it. Like Selma Blair is the famous actress who has it, Christina Applegate as well. So with MS, basically the immune system is attacking the brain and the spinal cord, and it causes weakness. It can cause paralysis and that sort of thing. With GBS, it's very similar, except that it's causing the same sort of issues in the peripheral nerves, which is basically every nerve outside of your brain and outside of your spinal cord. So it can cause weakness, pain, paralysis in severe cases, pretty much in any part of your body. So that's what GBS is. CIDP is the more chronic version of it, and it's where it basically happens to somebody on a longer term basis, whereas GBS is typically a very severe and sudden case, kind of very all at once.
Do you have it in your family at all, in family history, or was this a complete blindsided?
Complete blindside, yeah. So GBS, they don't believe it's hereditary. There is no genetic link or anything. It's just kind of random. And I had never even heard of GBS before. I was completely healthy right before it hit me. And it was just changed my life forever.
That is so scary. And that's one of my biggest fears too, of just getting blindsided. Because I was gonna say I was blindsided, no pun intended. I was blindsided myself with the glaucoma because, I already did have eye issues. I was born with a congenital cataract, and I had that my lens removed. So the right eye has always been they call it a special eye.
Mm-hmm.
I was a child, so they don't want to say oh,
right.
your eye is fucked up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, your eye is very sick. No, honey,
Mm-hmm.
your eye is special. I'm like,
I love it. I love it.
yeah. They just didn't want to scare me. I'm like, okay. Not everyone called it special eye, but and yeah. So I was blindsided when I was 17 years old, and they found it the late stage too, which is crazy because I was that's what kind of scares me sometimes, is that you can do everything right and then still get blindsided. It's I'm a huge health person because of, and I'm sure you understand, being blindsided, and it's all you want to think about is not having something else be blindsided, disease wise or anything else happening to you, because it's truly traumatizing. When were you diagnosed?
So I was diagnosed, I would have been 26 at the time, and this would have been about 14 years ago. And I was at home. I had actually just given birth to my daughter 3 weeks before.
Mm-hmm.
So I was at home and I was just recovering from having a C-section. I was adjusting to life, being a new mom, and I was really excited and I was really happy and I was really healthy. Other than obviously just having a baby, going through pregnancy and all that, I had never had anything severe or I'd never really spent any time even in a hospital before.
Mm.
So then I was at home and I was feeling fine and, feeling tired and adjusting to life with a baby. And then one day I was walking up the stairs and I felt really weak, and I felt like it was really challenging to lift my leg up to take that step. And I kind of just brushed it off, figured I was just really tired. But then a couple hours later, I had this really severe pain in my neck, and I tried to just ignore it, but the pain kind of got worse. And then the weakness in my legs got worse. I ended up actually going to a Remedies center and seeing a doctor because the pain got so bad. And the doctor's like, no, I think you just have a pinched nerve. Just take some pain meds, go to bed. And if it continues, then you can come see us next week. And I went home. I tried to go to sleep that night. The pain was so severe. I was doing all these stretches. And in the middle of the night, my daughter woke up to nurse. And when I stood up to go to her, my legs actually buckled and I fell to the ground. And so that's when I knew, something's wrong.
Yeah.
I can barely even walk anymore. So I had my husband at the time, I had him drop me off at the hospital. Obviously I had a newborn, so I was like, I don't want her to come in with me.
Yeah.
Just drop me off. I will be out of here in no time, I'm sure. I have this really severe pinched nerve, which is what I thought it was. I went into the ER and, within a few hours of being in there and waiting for the doctor to see me, I could barely walk anymore. And the doctor that I saw there, he thankfully was like, I don't know what's wrong with you, but something is wrong with you. And I need a specialist to come down and see you. And the specialist that I saw had seen a case of GBS before, recognized the signs and said, I think you have this rare disorder. And it's called GBS. It's called Guillain-Barré Syndrome. And you need to be admitted. And we really don't know how severe this is going to be, but you need to basically expect for the worst. And I just remember thinking like, no, I've got a baby and I'm healthy. Like I got to go home. Like I can't be admitted to the hospital. But yeah, I had no idea that everything would go very, very quickly. And the paralysis actually spread up to my neck, spread through my body until I could no longer breathe on my own. And within 72 hours, I was rushed to ICU and put on a ventilator.
Oh my gosh. Like just listening to that story, that is like literally a nightmare. I'm so sorry.
It
You had
literally
to
was.
go through that. Like right now, as we're talking, you're like so chill. You're like so laid back. You're like, yeah, I had to go on a ventilator. No big deal. But I'm sure you said your story a lot. So
Yeah.
I'm sure it's not your first rodeo telling your story right now. So,
Yeah.
but it's just like, yeah, I'm like, oh my gosh. And you're like, yeah, it happens. I mean, like honestly, when I talk about my stuff, I just like make a joke of everything. I know it's serious, but like
Totally.
it's like how I cope, and that's like part of this brand too. It's like mental health, yes, it's very serious, but like sometimes you just gotta like throw in something for like comic relief. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely.
Do you ever get like mad where you just feel like it's so unfair?
Absolutely. I
Like
mean,
those like feeling so angry?
yeah, I mean, when I was in the hospital, I was in ICU for almost 3 months, basically on life support. And my daughter was growing up basically in front of me. Like she was there with me every day, but I couldn't be her mom and I couldn't raise her. And my family was basically doing that for me. And for a very long time, I was like, why me? Why did this have to happen to me? Why did this happen? Like as soon as my daughter was born, I never got to be a mom. I never got to experience life with her. And I was very, very angry and down for a very long time.
Yeah. Do you ever like this kind of goes through my head and I don't like ever being annoyed or negative towards like thoughts towards people, but we're human, of course. Do you ever get like annoyed or like not mad, but just more like annoyed and irritated over people who just like actively don't take care of themselves? We're all human. Here and there I have my Taco Bell or whatever, but I try to do everything to avoid having like any issues with my health. And then some people just take it for granted.
Absolutely.
I
I
think that's the
mean,
best way for me to say it without sounding like a bitch.
yeah, yeah, no, I do agree. And I mean, like when I went, everything that I went through, like I said, it wasn't genetic and it wasn't anything that I did. It was just kind of hit me. But then you do see people that really don't take care of their body and you go like, you're just so fortunate. You don't realize how lucky you are to have your health. And there's so many people out there that don't have their health and for no fault of their own. So yeah, I can definitely relate to that.
Yeah. And then also just like grieving how you when you were healthy and such, like those moments of grief. Like you said this, I mean, you were diagnosed a bit ago, right? So
Yeah.
you've been through a lot of healing and going through it, but do you have like nights where you're just like you just have to have a good cry. Because sometimes I do, to be honest with you. So I'm 29. And for a good 25 years, 25 years, because I've always had eye problems since birth, I was always so positive about my whole situation. I was like, I have my left eye, being grateful, which it's a good thing to be grateful. But more of I was being strong for my mom because she always blames herself, even though it's not obviously her fault. Like stuff like this happens. And it's
Yeah.
kind of like my mom didn't do anything wrong. She did everything right with the pregnancy. Even the
Yeah.
doctors were like, you didn't do anything. It's just,
Yeah.
it's a fluke. And I don't know if that's the right word for it, but like, um, so I was just being, obviously it's not fun being blind to one eye. I prefer to have both my eyes. That'd be nice. But I think it just started like catching up to me when I was 25 years old. And I just started bawling and having mental breakdowns and angry, like, oh my God. I was so proud of myself for staying positive and just having such a good, being a good sport with everything. And then bam, I just lost it.
Absolutely. Yeah, you get to a point where you're just like, you try to be strong. And I think that's a huge part of the process, right? Like, is you want to be strong. You want to be able to
Hmm.
get through whatever you're getting through, but there's going to be days where you're not going to be able to. And you just have to remind yourself, like, that's okay. It's okay to have bad days. It's okay to
Yeah.
break down. You just got to promise yourself not to stay there.
Yeah, no, you're totally right. And it did feel very good because that is, we can talk about medical trauma because that's a huge thing too. Have you actually? I feel like with your experience, right? You did go to the doctor and they said, "Oh, it's probably just a pinched nerve." So in your head, and as you would think, because we're supposed to trust our doctors, yeah, it's just a pinched nerve, no big deal, we're good, it'll go away. And then, bam, this happens. Did you ever feel like anxious to keep like going to more doctors and not trusting them?
Absolutely. I mean, still to this day, not that I don't trust them. I think that they're not as smart and as knowing as we think. And that's not a fault of their own. I mean, the
Hmm.
body is so complicated and there's
Yeah.
so many rare diseases out there. There's so many things and there's so much that happens. And there's so many disorders, diseases that they haven't figured out a cure from, even though they're doing so much research and studies and everything, right? And
Hmm.
there's just things that they just can't quite figure out. So I don't put blame on them for that. But what I've learned from my experiences, they really don't know as much as we thought that they do.
Yeah.
And they're doing a lot of guessing, a lot of educated guessing,
Education. Yeah.
which is fair. But yeah, when I deal with doctors now, it's like, okay, yeah, you're definitely not as smart as the world likes to think. And not to say
Yeah.
that they're not smart, they absolutely are. But there's a lot of stuff that I've learned, even from being in the hospital as a patient. And the doctors have tried to say, like, oh no, this is the case, or this is how things are. And I'm like, no, that's not. I lived it, and I am an advocate for the disease that I went through.
Uh huh.
And the people that are living whatever disease or disorder or whatever it is, the health issue, they're the experts, not the doctors.
Yes, absolutely. When I was also blindsided with appendicitis, it almost
Mm,
burst. And
my
I
gosh.
have fun. Yeah, so I would like have like very severe pain in that one area. And I just thought it was just, I don't know, not a stomach ache. It wasn't that kind of pain, but I just thought it was like my ovaries because I have history of ovarian cysts. So I just thought it was that. And then it would be so much pain that I would be up all night, all nighter. I could not sleep at all. And so, but then it will go away and I'll be fine for like 4 months or something like
Oh,
that. And
wow.
it'll come back. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then it'll come back. And I'm just here thinking, like, okay, do I have some stomach issues going on here? So I went to one of those doctors and got an endoscopy done. Well, first I went to my primary, then they, of course, refer you. And I went to get an endoscopy done, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we see some inflammation in your stomach." And they were just giving me kind of like basic stuff. Oh yeah, don't eat tomatoes, or like just things like that. Like stay away from processed food, or
Yeah, yeah.
like just stuff I already like. It's common sense to
Hmm.
me, and that was pretty much it. And so I think when it was still happening, I don't know remember too well if they were trying other things, but no one could really. I think I was just taking whatever they said and called it a
Hmm.
day
Yes.
because I trusted them. And then all of a
Hmm.
sudden the pain was coming back. This was like a year after, by the way. I was like, I remember because I had this pain in one apartment and then another pain in the other front. I think I like moved over the year. So it was like probably a whole like year I've had like these problems on and off. And it was really bad one night. And I'm also always get nervous. Like if I go to the hospital and nothing really happens and I'm just like stuck with a big bill. And
Absolutely.
that's which kind of stinks, but then here we are in the US. That's just reality for everybody. So I always like try to make sure I choose properly when I take advantage of the emergency room. So I was like, but my roommate at the time, she's like, Justine, I'm taking you to the ER. And I'm like, no, it's whatever. Like, it's good. Like, I was being so stubborn, but she was like, no, we're going. And she like literally like pretty much dragged me out. And I was like, okay, went to the nearest hospital. And I was, oh my God, it was so bad. I like pretty much threw up in the hospital bathroom, but didn't really throw up anything. You know what I mean? Like I
Mm-hmm.
hate that feeling where you just
Yeah.
throwing up and like nothing comes out. I know it's kind of like TMI, but it was like so bad where I feel like I was gonna fall to the ground. But I didn't want to be that person in the ER being like, get me in, like,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, like I don't want to be that person because I understand how the ER works when it comes to priority. Unless I am screaming on the floor, then yeah, I guess I'm considered priority. But like, unless it like involuntary comes out, if I can still control myself, I'm not gonna do it. You know what I mean? But then my friend was like, "Okay, I'll go be that person." I was like, "Oh my God, you're being like I'm like,
Love
Kim,
it.
you're so embarrassing." But okay, I mean, it's actually good that she did that though. You know,
Absolutely.
what a
Sometimes you
great
need that.
yeah, so kind of like I don't want to bother them, but yeah. So I got in, and then they gave me a bunch of morphine because I was just so much pain. And then they're like, "Okay, so what's going on?" I'm like, "I'm having pain here. It could be maybe cyst. Like I think they're like saying, oh, like what I need." And I was like, "I don't know. Maybe an ultrasound. Maybe it's my ovaries. Maybe a cyst burst. Like that's all I can really think of. I did not
Yeah.
think of appendix at all."
Yeah.
Right. And then they're like, okay, we'll get an ultrasound done for you. And then I got that done, came back, and then I told my friend, I was like, you can go, I guess I'm pretty sure it's probably just my ovarian cyst. Like, you can go home, I'll take a lift home because it was like 3 in the morning. It was like, or 1 in the morning, something like that. She had work in the morning. So I felt really bad. And I was like, yeah, it's fine. Just go home. I'll take an Uber or whatever. And then as soon as she left, 10 minutes later, the doctor comes in and he was like, so, we think we saw something. And I'm like, huh? What? And they're like, yeah, we're not gonna, we think you may have appendicitis, but we're gonna have to have a CAT scan first. And I'm like, cool. And I'm all by myself.
Oh my
So, and
gosh.
my
How
parents,
terrifying.
yeah, my parents are like in a different state too. So I called my dad because I had to like let them know before going to like a surgery or anything that you know my parents should be aware of that. And I said like I call my dad, not my mom, because my mom she does kind of take things to a different level with her anxiety, and I just don't want to freak her out if it's not necessary. But she knew something was wrong when like she heard my dad pick up the phone at 3 in the morning from me.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. So I was like, okay, don't tell mom. I don't know for sure. I have to get a CAT scan done, but I may have surgery for. And I told him the whole thing. He was like, okay, well, like let me know. So okay, got the CAT scan, came back. He was like, yep, we're gonna put you in surgery. And I was like,
My God.
cool, yay! You can imagine me just in that bed, just laughing like crazy. Because that's what I do. Anytime I'm in like a really serious, bad situation, I just laugh the whole time.
Yeah. You're just
It's
like,
really
it's just the
bad.
craziness of it.
Like I could be held at gunpoint. I'll just be laughing at them, like, or I'll be like kidnapped, and they're like, "This is so much fun. Thank you for picking me." Like, oh, they do not want to kidnap me. I'll be so annoying. So yes. Anyway, then I had to call back and actually tell my parents, "Okay, yeah, I'm going to surgery." And then my mom's like, "Okay, I'm gonna get the next plane out." So she did get the next plane out. Well, plane after the first plane because the first plane was booked. She literally came with nothing but her purse.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, she just had like her medication, her purse, but like she didn't pack. She literally just
Wow.
got her purse and just left and went on a plane.
Wow.
I know, very iconic, right? And then later on that week, we get to like Walmart to get her clothes. But yeah, obviously I'm fine. But the doctor did say it was the close one,
Wow.
and because
Very
people
scary.
could die if it burst.
Absolutely.
And I think in my head, I'm just like, that could have been my death right there if we didn't have modern medicine.
Absolutely.
Do you ever just think that if we didn't have modern medicine, that people, I mean, obviously people did die earlier, but I just think, okay, 23 would have been my age of
Yeah.
July. You know what I mean? Going back to modern medicine. So what do you do to like treat or cope? Like, how does your day look? What's the meds? Like, what's going on with diet?
So when I was first diagnosed, I had to have basically something similar to a blood transfusion.
Oh, okay.
And basically I had to get the concept is that, my immune system is attacking the nerves. So they need to get the healthy antibodies from donor blood and put it into mine and basically take out my blood. So yeah, it was this huge process. So I did that. And then I was on a ventilator for about 3 months. And then after that, had to learn how to breathe on my own, had to get off of the ventilator, out of ICU, then had to learn how to basically use every muscle in my body. So I had to learn how to hold cutlery, feed myself, drink from a cup, and then eventually how to walk. And I dealt with a lot of nerve pain at that point, just from the nerve damage. So I was on some medications, gabapentin, Lyrica. I was on just a lot of different medications to just make sure that my body's working properly.
Yeah.
So now 14 years later, I mean, the pain is a lot less. I still have it on a day-to-day basis. I'm not on any specific medication anymore. And then I do have fatigue as well. So just, bouts of just severe exhaustion just from my nervous system just being so damaged from what I went through.
Okay, so like at this moment, it's severe exhaustion, fatigue, which sucks. So you're medication free?
I am medication free. Yes. I can't, like, I could, I'm on a kind of a cusp of needing it versus not needing it. But I just kind of use things when the pain comes up. So, so I use medical cannabis for the
Perfect.
nerve pain.
Love that.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Yeah. It
Yeah.
works wonderful. It works better than any other pharmaceutical medication that I was on for many years.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I always debate on doing that myself, like the medical marijuana, because they always say like glaucoma patients to go on it.
Yeah. Yeah. I have heard
Yeah,
that.
and I've asked that to, I don't know if I asked for both doctor and just like a holistic non-doc. I'm not sure, but um, it's 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 proven that it lowers eye pressure, but only the time that I'm on it.
Oh,
So it's not like something that's
yeah.
like
It's not going to
long
work
term.
long
It's like
term.
I
Yeah.
pretty much have to be high all the time.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, I'm not saying I have to get high, but like
Yeah.
I pretty much have to be like smoking all the time.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
I'll be like Wiz Khalifa. Like just always just Snoop Dogg and just it's living life. But also my apartment complex, because they have rules and stuff with the lease, and there is a marijuana section,
Oh,
and there's this
interesting.
yeah, there is a marijuana section. And it does say in there, like, they even don't allow medical marijuana. And
Hmm.
I was like, really? And I'm like, I guess that's not illegal. I'm thinking about disability,
Yeah. Yeah.
but I don't know. I'm sure
Interesting.
there's probably some maybe like loop, because it's not public
Yeah.
housing.
Yeah. This brought probably some little
Yeah, and there's other
case by case basis.
apartments.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably because it's not like it's public. And I can have it's not like it's my only choice.
Yeah.
I think
Right.
that's what it is. If I
Right.
had no other choice but here, then I think that would probably be. I'm
Right.
assuming. I don't know. I
Yeah.
could be wrong. I mean, who
Yeah.
knows? Who knows these days? If you know what I
Yeah.
mean. Oh,
Absolutely.
yeah, but I know if people aren't following. I like walk out and I just smell like weed. I'm like, no one cares. I mean, you do you. I was like, I wish I was you. I wish I didn't care. But I have anxiety, so I mean, marijuana is good for anxiety too. Have you ever done like gummies?
I personally
Eh,
actually haven't. I've heard some good
really?
things about it,
You heard
but
good things about it?
I have, yeah,
Really?
for
Oh.
people that struggle with like smoking it, that people
Mm.
that struggle with like, the coughing and all that kind of stuff. Some people prefer just being able to take a gummy.
Yeah. Do you want to hear a funny story?
Sure.
And you're like, oh, I'm excited for this one. It's really funny. It wasn't funny at the time, but it's funny now. And I love telling this story. So I do social media management for clients, right? And I did have a client that sold like edibles and pre-rolls and all that stuff, right? And so naturally, they send me all their products, like once we start working together. And so they are known for like more of their gummies, like their fun cubes is what they call it.
Hmm.
And so I've had in the past where here and there I'll like smoke weed socially, like when I was in college or whatever. So I was like, okay, yeah, let me just take a gummy or whatever. And it says take one. So naturally following the instructions, I took one and I was like not on earth anymore.
My gosh.
Yeah, I was like messaging my friend because at first I felt really chill. Like, oh, no one can piss me off. It was like my brain was just complete, like I was a monk, like namaste. Like I was like, this is so awesome. I'm loving this. Texting my friend who's done like edibles here and there. And I was like, hey, I just took this. And I told her like, oh, it's 60 milligrams. And she's like, well, see you on the flip side. And I was like, huh? Like, what do you mean see you on the flip side? And so 20 minutes later, I was on the flip side.
Oh my gosh.
Because you know it, like you have it and you feel fine, you just feel chill, nothing's bad.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, bam!
Yeah.
Where am I? Who am I? Oh my God. I went into a panic attack because I already have horrible anxiety. So like people who have horrible anxiety, you take that gummy, you're going into a panic attack.
Yeah, no kidding.
I thought I was dying. Like,
My
I
God.
truly believe that was like, because all of a sudden, like, I felt dizzy. I felt like I was going to fall to the floor. And, like, because typically, from what people say, it's like it puts you to sleep. Like, you just sleep it off or whatever.
Yeah.
But I was scared to sleep. I was so scared. Cause I thought if I fell on the floor, like, and slept and just kind of, like, let it happen, I would be dead. Like, that's literally, truly what I believe.
What goes in your mind. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And so when this was happening, I was getting dizzy and I was starting having a hard time controlling my body. Like that was horrifying. And so I was like, I literally was just like screaming to God. I was like, seriously, out of all the ways I'm gonna die, I literally was just like on my knees, like, come on, seriously? Like you couldn't do it like a better way? Like, why this way? The stuff that just went through my mind, I was like really pissed off. I'm like, come on, this is how I'm gonna die. This is it. Seriously. Because I took a freaking gummy like an idiot.
Yeah, no kidding.
Like, and then it got worse and worse and worse. And my whole nervous system was on fire.
Oh, wow.
Like, literally, like I was burning. Like, I was just like, oh my God, it's destroying my nervous system. Like, I felt like.
Yeah, and that's why I don't take gummies.
See, and now you're definitely not going to.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, if you did, it's 5 milligrams. You're supposed to start with 5, not 60. What? Wow. Not 60. Yeah. And then, and I was like, I was so mad. I'm just like, wait, why is my client saying, yeah. Right? I'm like, this is meant for like stoners.
Yeah.
Because my boyfriend took one and he's not a stoner anymore. He doesn't smoke anymore. But at the time he was, and he was like fine. He was living his best life, had the best sleep of his life. And I'm just like out here just thinking I'm going to die. Like, must be nice. You guys are all healthy and enjoying your gummies, and I'm here half blind with a panic attack. We're doing great over here. Oh my God. Yeah. So it's a funny story. I like to tell it and laugh now because at the time I was not laughing. Sure. Like, it was not a good time. I was traumatized. You would never see me eat a gummy. Ever. Have you ever heard of Kratom?
I haven't.
No way. Okay, so I'm gonna tell you what Kratom is. Okay, so since you already do like the whole medical marijuana, like Kratom is not, I don't consider it marijuana, but it is a plant medicine. So, okay, so I'm trying to the best way to explain this. So it is a plant and it does a great job with also like relaxing muscles with like there's different roots. So one could be energy, one can be like muscle relaxation, one can be like joy. So it's like kind of like different moods. And when you have like the red vein, which is considered the muscle one, like I have like neck problems and everything. So if you have that, like all those problems go away. And it's so like for pain and all of that, like right. I definitely like recommend it. But just keep in mind that it's actually could be addictive. So just like if you do use it, just be mindful of that.
Absolutely.
Like how alcohol can be addictive. So because if you have because you're not supposed to have Kratom like every single day because that can kill your liver. Yeah. But it's definitely something that once in a while have it, and I prefer it over alcohol.
Interesting.
Like if I honestly, I kind of wish it was like the same price as alcohol. Like when it comes to like going to a grocery store and buying it like cans, because it is a little pricey, but also it's really good quality and it does amazing things. So I get it, I understand. It's also not like well known, right? So once it gets more of it, then I'm sure that it will grow more. Yeah, and probably get cheaper. Where do you live? Like what state or where you live? Or
I'm actually in Canada.
I was like thinking in my head, I'm like, of course I'm going to say what state, and it's not going to be the US.
Yeah, I'm in Canada.
I knew that was going to happen. I was thinking, I'm like, I know there could be anyone from all over the world. But I'm like, okay, because I want to say like, oh, where do you live? I don't want to sound like a creep. So I was like, oh, I should just be like, oh, so where are you? I don't know. Like, how do I not sound like, oh, so what's your address? Yeah, that's cool. What part of Canada?
I am from Edmonton, Alberta. Yeah.
Oh, I went to Vancouver for a couple of nights a couple of months ago.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was so cool. Yeah, I haven't been out of the
Yeah.
country in a while, so it's a
Yeah,
cool
it's pretty far
experience.
away from where I am. That's probably about a 12-hour drive.
Yeah, that seems about right. I was in like the Seattle area, so I took a
Yep.
train.
Oh, nice, nice.
Yeah, it was very nice.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
So the reason I asked that is because I'm in Florida, and so it's more known in Florida. Like there's
Right.
more places, which kind of makes sense because we're like a tropical area.
Yep.
But I think it's from the Pacific Islands, from my
Okay.
knowledge, from what I like research and such. And then there's Kava, which I actually just had Kava today. I have Kava the days I do podcast episodes because naturally I'm an anxious person, as you can probably tell. And people scare me. Not that you're scary. I just like that thing. Like,
You
oh, I
need
have to
something to
have
take a little
a.
edge off. That's fine.
Yeah. Because this is like every time I do this, it is a challenge for me because I have social anxiety, but I do it because it's like it helps people,
For
and
sure.
I got to do what I got to do, right?
Yeah, step outside of your comfort zone sometimes, and then you feel better
Exactly.
after.
Yes. That the kava just like helps, like it calms
Bring
me.
that down. Yeah.
Yeah, and the best way to explain what kava is, it's a natural Xanax. That's what people say.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Interesting.
yeah. And kava's not addictive too, so that's also really cool.
Yeah. I'll
Yeah,
have to check it up.
yeah. I don't know if they have it in Canada, what the laws are in
I'll have to
Canada.
see. Yeah.
No idea. But yeah, no, it's definitely, I feel like you would definitely like it. So
Mm.
yeah, highly encourage you to check that out. So let's get to the part where you decided that you wanted to help others. Like what made you want to write a book? What made you want to do what you do? Like you're online helping people. Like what made you want to do that?
So basically, when I was going through it myself, I felt very alone. I felt very isolated. I felt like there was nobody that could understand what I was possibly feeling, experiencing, especially at my age. You know, everyone else that I knew was completely healthy, had never had any health issues in their life.
Mhm.
And then also dealing with a rare disease that most people have never heard of. Most doctors had never dealt with it. So it was just felt very alone.
Mhm.
And I didn't want anyone else to go through that. And I didn't want other people to feel the way that I did. There was so many times where I was like, you know, I don't think I can do this. I don't think I can get through this. And I wanted to give up. And I knew that when I did recover, that I wanted to show other people that, you know, there is hope. There is reason to keep fighting, even though when you're in ICU on a ventilator, fighting for your life, completely paralyzed. I recovered and I got back to my life, and, you know, I'm a mom again and I get to do everything that I wanted to do. And I just want to show other people that you can come out on the other side.
Yeah, that is so beautiful. Have you ever seen the movie, and it's also a book. It's called The Secret.
I did see it many, many years ago, but I was
Yeah, it's old.
little and I don't remember it, but
Really?
I know the concept of it. Yeah.
Yeah, there is basically talking about like healing and your like mindset and brain or whatever and such. So I think what I was trying to get to the point of that is I think what I'm trying to say is the fact that you're like in a like I mean it's not gone. You're obviously your disease, it's still there. But I think that's just amazing that you're not suffering like using the ventilator, like you're not, like you're alive, you're here, you're talking,
Hmm.
you're doing what you're doing. And yes, and seeing someone in a ventilator, it's scary. And so just like showing that and like showing like proof on social media, and this is one thing I love about social media,
Me
is
too.
that there's, and this is like literally what my whole podcast is about, is that the people that I bring on, they have a story and they have came out on the other side with so much wisdom and like they've gotten through it. Or I mean, they obviously everyone can still be experiencing, but they know how to cope, they know
Hmm.
this,
Hmm.
and it's that beacon of hope, like
Yeah.
I feel like my podcast, it touches on a lot of different things. Lately it's actually been touching on domestic violence.
Hmm.
I've been getting a lot of people that came, a lot of women coming to me who just got out of like a narcissistic abuse. So I've been noticing that recently. But yeah, so it's like a little bit of everything. And that's like the biggest thing. I think that's I don't. I try to like think of my words because it's really, some people always say, oh, everything happens for a reason, and I don't want to ever say that to someone who experienced something so horrible. But I guess just thinking in like you're being like that beacon of hope for the mass, like so many people.
Hmm. Yeah,
You
I
know?
agree. I think like yeah, saying everything happens for a reason can be challenging to people that
Yeah.
have experienced something
Right.
traumatic or something that they feel like ruined their life or something.
Hmm.
But at the same time, I do believe that, you don't have to see it that way. You can always just try to find like any kind of gift or wisdom that you can take out of that experience. So for
Yeah.
me, like when I was in the hospital, I mean, I lost out on the first 6 months of my daughter's life.
Hmm.
And at the time, I remember, like I said, I was so angry and bitter about that for a long time. But then now, instead, I choose to look at the gifts, and instead of saying like, everything happened for a reason, I just say, this is what I got out of it. And
Hmm.
now like I'm so grateful that I get to be her mom, that it's actually like made our relationship even stronger now. So, and it's given me this ability to share my story and help other people. So everything that I went through, as horrible as it was, there was so much good that came out of it as well.
Yeah, and that's like the mindset that I was like referring to is like, yeah, the I was like trying to choose my wording, but you knew exactly what I was saying. What was good? 'Cause I was like, I
Exactly.
don't want to be on here and be like, so everything happens for me, like like
Yeah.
because I never, because I mean, I get it. I mean, we're not. I mean, I'm never ever gonna say that I understand you because you have different disease, had different experiences. So I always say in the beginning, I'm like, I would never ever say, oh, I get it.
Yeah.
I understand. Has people ever said that to you, by the way?
Some people, yeah, I've had people say like, I can relate. I'm something like this similar. And it's like, no,
No. Yeah. And then it kind of feels like isolating because with my and plus with yours too, it's I don't know anybody who has it, especially with my age group. Like I think I typed in glaucoma on TikTok just to see if people were, talking about it or whatever. And there was like I think one person, but when I was trying to like chat with her back and forth, she was very private. So every time I would like get to know her, she would kind of be a little like, well, I didn't say things like, "Oh, where do you live?" I think I don't know. Maybe I did, but I wasn't asking for her address or just kind of like, just getting to know somebody. But yeah, I mean, I respect that. If she just obviously just she
yeah.
doesn't know me, I could be a creeper for all she knows. But besides that, I didn't see
Hmm.
much when I typed in glaucoma.
Hmm.
So it felt very like isolating. And like, I get really depressed and sad about it. And, my family, my boyfriend, they do everything they can to be there for me, but it's like they're never gonna get it.
No, exactly. And that's why it's so important to find people that do get it if you can. It's hard, but social
Yeah.
media does make that a little bit easier.
Yeah. So, and when I saw you too, I was like, okay, I'm gonna ask her if she ever feels like that, like super alone. I feel like that's like that's like the hardest, one of the hardest parts. And then
Absolutely.
of course the actual treatment itself and such. So for someone who is struggling with a rare disease and struggling mentally with a rare disease, like feeling alone, feeling scared, having those types of moments, like I know this is kind of a very broad question, but like what's a piece of advice that you would give them?
Yeah, there's a few things I would say. I would say like one, yeah, get on social media and see, like you said, like type it in TikTok, see if you can find people. See if you can find people that are talking about it, sharing their own experiences. See if you can find organizations. So go on Google and look for associations and just find your people, find your tribe, find the people that will understand, even if they're, across the world, if they're younger, they're older, you know what I mean? Just somebody that might be able to chat with you, maybe somebody that is either going through it already right now, or they've already
Hmm.
come out on the other side and they can give you some advice. Just being with somebody and chatting with somebody who gets it
Hmm.
can really, really help you feel a lot less alone.
Yeah, and that's the reason why. Well, for mental health wise, I just started like the Facebook group for Mentally a Badass, so people can meet each other.
Yeah.
Because I think it's so powerful. If someone like struggles with the same like mental health disorder, like bipolar, for example, or BPD, I feel like Instagram can only go so far when it comes to community. I feel like people
Hmm.
can like comment our like the content, but there's not much interaction between each other.
Right. Yes.
So yeah, so it's like we have this audience, but we want them to talk to each other too.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So yeah, I started doing that Facebook group, but I don't know what to do. Do you have anything like that where you have like a
I used
community?
to, but no, I mean, I'm part of like the GBS community, and that's just
Mhm.
kind of worldwide. And there's some Facebook groups that way, but yeah, nothing like specific for like a smaller group.
So what do they do in that group? Like, what do you guys do? Like, is
It's
there like an
mostly just
admin that
questions.
posts?
It's mostly just questions. Yeah, people that are asking questions.
Yeah. See, I have like 63 people in my group, and and like no one really. I mean, there's one person that actually tried to say, "Hey, who wants to talk?"
Yeah, yeah,
or something like that. I'm like, "Yeah, you go." And then one person did reply, so hopefully they
yeah,
connected. But it's been pretty quiet. But like I said, it's like 60 something people. It's not like a
yeah,
lot. So
yeah.
like probability wise, but I'm still just trying to figure out how to make it engaging. Like I
Yeah, I
have
mean, you got
no
to post your
idea.
own questions and say, "Have you ever dealt with this?" And yeah.
Yeah, my most recent one was, do you guys have sleep debt?
Mm,
Do you have sleep debt?
mm-mm.
Do you know what sleep debt is?
No, like where you're bored, like where you like sleeping and then you're feeling tired the next day and you're borrowing. Is that what you mean?
Sleep debt. So DEBT, like credit card debt,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
so
yeah.
it's pretty much like like during the week people are busy, they can lose sleep and they have to wake up early, and then like in the weekends they sleep till like noon or whatever. So the reason the body does that, it could have sleep debt.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, so that's what I asked. Is I pretty much was like asking, do you guys struggle with your sleep? Do you guys like sleep till like noon on Sundays because you sleep like for 2 hours on like a Tuesday night? Like it's so interesting. I got this app. It's called Rise, and
Hmm.
it tracks. It has like a AI algorithm where like it tracks your energy based off of how you interact with it. It's really good actually. It's really smart. It tells you when your peak is, like it tells me the window of my grogginess, so it's usually like an hour, and then like my morning peak, and then my afternoon dip, and then my evening dip, and then my wind down, and then my melatonin window.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was like, this is
Interesting.
so I would love for them to sponsor me. Like I'm literally like, I feel like there's such a would be such a good sponsor, so I'm like, should I just go for it and just find their like,
Yeah, just talk about them as much as possible.
honestly, you gotta be bold with things. Like I just put
Hmm.
myself on a billboard recently. I really did for this podcast.
Amazing.
You gotta do what you gotta do, right? Okay, let's talk about your book. So first, when did you write your book?
Well, I started writing my book pretty much immediately after I got out of the hospital. And
Mm.
then I ended up publishing it pretty quickly. And then I pulled it and I rewrote it because life changed and like I continued to go through life and have residuals that I was dealing with GBS. So
Mhm.
then I rewrote it and then I republished it. And so it came out, it would have been January of last year.
Oh, nice. So yeah, definitely really fairly new. I think when I was reading about you, I think you were first working on it.
Probably.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember because when I was reading about you, it said working on memoir. But then when I looked at your website, it was there to buy. And I was like,
Yeah.
okay, I guess
Yeah.
it's been a bit. So,
Yeah.
so
Sounds about right.
yeah. So like, what is it like? What would people find? I know you're talking about, of course, rare disease, and like, what can people like learn from the book, and like some examples of takeaways?
Yeah, I think number one is just how quickly life can change. Like I went from
Mhm.
being completely healthy to completely paralyzed and fighting for my life in the matter of days. And so it's a really big eye opener just to show you like how short life is, how quickly things can change. It reminds people, that to go after the things that you want to go after. If you have a goal in mind, you have something that you've always wanted to do, just do it now because you don't know when life is going to change. Obviously, the book talks about my entire experience from the time of being diagnosed to my recovery into life afterwards. And so there's a lot of takeaways just from that of the very difficult journey that I went through, all the challenges along the way, all the doubts, all the fears, and then getting through it and coming out on top and, getting into the gym and getting into the best shape of my life and just recovering and just showing other people that there is hope, no matter what it is that you're going through.
Mm-hmm.
You can overcome. We are so much stronger than I think we realize until we're
Mm-hmm.
out on the other side.
Yeah, some people say like it makes us resilient.
Exactly.
Like that's what they say. And I still like even though my disease is kind of like they have no cure or anything like that. They say the nerves in my eye are dead forever. They say that to me too. And you have to be on meds the rest of your life.
Mm,
So it sounds sad, but I still have hope,
yeah,
especially how fast modern medicine is progressing. So I have to keep
absolutely.
that hope. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? Like I have to. I'm 29 years old. I still got time.
Exactly.
I was diagnosed did I say I was diagnosed when I was 17?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I did. I talk a lot. I don't even know what I say half the time. I look back and I'm like, oh, so I did say that. But my mind just runs a million miles a minute. I don't know if you noticed.
You're good.
Growing up, people say I talk too much.
That's
So I
right.
started a
That's right.
podcast. So I started a
Yeah.
podcast. Isn't that
Perfect.
and put myself on a billboard?
Perfect.
Maybe I should put the billboard like in my hometown.
There you go.
Put it like with the grocery store, like right. Cause they actually have like some boards there, like we can walk and see it. Like just put my face right there. Be like, you said I talk a lot. And
Here I am.
here I am.
Look
Yeah,
where I am
yeah.
now.
Oh my gosh. I feel like this is like so much fun. I love like, I feel like I also like how I'm like a comedian today. I don't know what it is,
Well, you get to
but
meet a lot of people. You get to have lots of fun conversations, I bet.
yeah, yeah, definitely. And the most rewarding thing for me too is that when you laugh, I don't know, it just feels so nice
Of
because for a
course.
second you'll be like, you'd be definitely very focused on like listening, and then all of a sudden you just be laughing. I'm like, oh, okay, she thinks I'm funny. Maybe I should be a comedian. I think that would be really funny if I was a comedian. Yeah, yeah. Um, what I was gonna say something else. Would you ever yourself do a podcast about like what you went through and or like rare diseases and such?
I've thought about it a few times. I went back and forth with it. In the end, I didn't end up going that route. I'm just busy with life and other things, but
Yeah.
I've had the opportunity to just go on other people's shows, which has been really rewarding and just share my story, and recommend people that I think would be good guests. And yeah, just kind of doing that.
Yeah, and I saw you on social. You're doing great. You
Thanks.
really are reaching people.
Yeah, it's been amazing to not only reach, patients, people that have gone through GBS, people that are going through it, but even like people in the medical profession that don't really know GBS, they don't really understand it, helping educate them as well.
That is so smart. There should be
Yeah.
like a textbook where people who have the disease write about like their experience and like what they
Yeah.
know because you're experiencing yourself. Like that should be a thing.
Yeah. That's pretty much one of the main reasons why I wrote my book as well. It's just not only to help people, like patients, but to explain to a doctor, like, okay, this is what it's like from the patient perspective.
Oh my god, that is so great. I, but yeah, textbook wise, like a whole
Mm-hmm.
class. Be
Mm-hmm.
like, okay,
Oh,
so this is
absolutely.
this is the patient advocacy class, guys. That is a mandatory to take. It's not elective. It's
Yeah.
mandatory. That should be a thing. I think we need to go pitch that to whoever who does the. I don't know. I'm assuming it's probably the government. That is a good idea because at the end of the day, it's like we do know more, and it's like you were saying before in the beginning, it's they're doing their best from what they
Mhm.
know, but we
Yeah.
can't expect them to know everything. They're human too,
Yeah.
and what you
Exactly.
experience,
So all we can
you're
do,
pro out. Yeah,
and all we can do is
exactly.
educate them.
Of course. Oh, Holly, I want to say you're amazing. You're so
Thank you
amazing.
so
I
much. Thank you
appreciate.
for having me on.
I appreciate you. I'm going to put all your information in description, such as your Instagram, your book. Did you have TikTok? I think.
I do have TikTok. Yeah.
Okay, I was trying to like remember. I clicked all your stuff, so your TikTok as well. because you make such great you you create amazing content. So it's definitely like something that I want people to see as well. So I'll put all that in the description for you. But yes, thank you so much for
Sounds
coming
good.
on.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for having me, Justine. It's been great.